There are multiple ways that you can deliver your Smart Learning Suite Online lessons. This video will explain best practices for using SLS Online with synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning. Synchronous learning is learning that is done in real time. Students can be in a classroom or online in a video conference. Advantages of a synchronous learning environment is the ability to have active discussions with students, provide immediate feedback, and add a touch of personal engagement in your lessons. This environment best represents a traditional classroom model, but virtually would be done via Google Meets or other video conferencing platforms. Some great features of the Smart Learning Suite Online that can be utilized in a synchronous learning environment are YouTube, workspaces, handout, any smart activities, especially Shout It Out, Monster Quiz, Team Quiz, and response assessment. YouTube is a great way to hook learners and review content. Workspaces are a great way to encourage collaborative learning, which facilitates the development of higher order thinking, communication, time management, ownership of learning, and leadership skills. Handout create a digital worksheet for each student. Smart activities can be used in many ways to add engaging interactive elements to your lesson. Finally, response is a great formative assessment tool to monitor student learning. Asynchronous learning occurs through online channels without real-time interaction. Advantages of an asynchronous learning environment is the flexibility to adjust the pacing of a lesson. Students will have the ability to work on the lesson within their own schedule and time through an online channel like Google Classroom. Asynchronous lessons also allow for students to choose their own pace. If a student is familiar with the content or it comes easy to them, they can power through the lesson quickly. If it takes a student a bit more time to understand the lesson, this modality allows for the student to review the information, take notes, and practice without worrying about the speed of the live lesson or the pacing of other classmates. Some great features of the Smart Learning Suite Online that can be utilized in an asynchronous learning environment are distraction-free YouTube videos, handouts, and smart activities. You can add YouTube videos to introduce new concepts or review content. Handouts allow students to practice independently, and it gives teachers real-time access to their work to provide feedback. Smart activities can be used in many ways to add engaging interactive elements to your lesson, such as a vocabulary matching game that provides instant feedback or a choice board. Some activities to avoid in an asynchronous lesson are Shout It Out, Response, Monster Quiz, and Team Quiz, as these are better utilized during live lessons. Blended learning is a hybrid of synchronous and asynchronous learning. It is the best of both worlds, combining the advantages of both types of lessons. An example of a blended approach would be to host the class live in Google Meet to build upon prior knowledge, introduce new material, and present challenging concepts. Once the introduction of the material is completed, the teacher can transition to meet with small groups or facilitate one-to-one learning opportunities for students who need additional support. The remainder of the class is able to continue working independently or in small groups on their Smart Learning Suite Online lesson. To recap, synchronous learning is learning that is done in real time. Asynchronous learning occurs through online channels without real-time interaction. Finally, blended learning is a hybrid of synchronous and asynchronous learning.